Jam Vishnupada Paramhamsa Bhagavad-acharya Asadharas Shri Sriman His Divine Grace Lacy Bhakti-Yoga Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanande all glories to the sound devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Buddhaya Srimate Bhakti-Yoga Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Prasharane Nirvishesha Shrindivadi Pasyajyade Om Bhagavana Divanandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Vidamayam Vidati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uddhapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Prijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakan Sitamscha Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabando Digatate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Ripriye Panchakapa Druyascha Kripa Sindhu Vivasha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Thank you all for coming. So I'm going to read from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 15, text number 5, called the Yoga of the Supreme Person. So we're practically at the bottom of England, right?
Yeah, more.
You can drive from here to Europe?
Oh, France is very close.
People speak French here?
All the French tourists.
How many read the Bhagavad Gita here? How many read Srimad Bhagavatam? Okay. How many are chanting japa every day? That's good. Anyone here for the first time? I'm here for the first time also. Have you read any of Prabhupada's books? You heard the Bhagavad Gita? Same with you? You heard the Bhagavad Gita? No.
Yes, I read the Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, her. So this is your first time? Yeah. How did you find out about it?
Facebook.
On Facebook. So first we read in Sanskrit. Of course you understand Sanskrit, right? If you don't understand, for those few of us who don't understand, we give a translation in English, by the way. Nirmana mohajita sangadosha adhyatma nitya viniritikama tvanvar vimukta sukadukha sanger gachantyamuda padam avyam tat. So there's the translation and the meaning by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are free from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who unbewildered know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. So please repeat. Those who are freed from false prestige.
Those who are free from false prestige,
Illusion.
illusion,
And false association.
false association,
Who understand the eternal.
who understand the eternal,
Who are done with material lust.
who are done with material lust,
Who are free from the dualities of happiness and distress.
who are free from the dualities of happiness and distress,
And who are unbewildered. And who unbewildered. And who unbewildered
who are unbewildered,
know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person,
know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person,
attain to that eternal kingdom.
attain to that eternal kingdom.
So that's quite a number of things here. Does anyone remember any of them?
Free from illusion, lust.
Yes, free from illusion, lust, what else? Dualities, yes, happiness and distress. Yes,
Free from false association,
false association.
free from false prestige.
Yes, those who are free from false prestige, from illusion, from false association, were done with what?
Lust.
Material lust. Who are free from which kind of dualities? Happiness and distress. And what do they know?
Eternal.
What's that?
The eternal.
Yeah, the eternal also. But what do they know? How to surrender into the Supreme Personality of God. So let's see if this has any order to this whole thing. There's so many things here. False prestige, illusion, false association, understand the eternal, who know how to free from the dualities of happiness and stress, who know how to surrender into the Supreme Person, attain to what? What do they attain to?
Supreme spiritual.
Attain to the Supreme, to that eternal kingdom. Unbewildered. Purport. The surrendering process is described here very nicely. The first qualification is that one should not be deluded by pride. Because the conditioned soul is puffed up, thinking himself the Lord of material nature, it is very difficult for him to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should know by cultivation of real knowledge that he is not Lord of material nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Lord. When one is free from the delusion caused by pride, he can begin the process of surrender. For one who is always expecting some honor in this material world, it is not possible to surrender to the Supreme Person. Pride is due to illusion. For although one comes here, stays for a brief time, and goes away, he has a foolish notion that he is the Lord of the world. He thus makes all things complicated, and he is always in trouble. The whole world moves under this impression. People are considering the land, this earth, to belong to human society, and they have divided the land under the false impression that they are the proprietors. One has to get out of this false notion that human society is the proprietor of this world. When one is free from such a false notion, he becomes free from all the false associations caused by familial, social, and national affections. These faulty associations bind one to this material world. At this stage, one has to develop spiritual knowledge. One has to cultivate knowledge of what is actually his own and what is actually not his own. And when one has an understanding of things as they are, he becomes free from all dual conceptions, such as happiness and distress, pleasure and pain. He becomes full of knowledge, then it is possible for him to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So again, Nirmana Moha Jita Sangha Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Vinirita Kama Dvanvara Vimukha Sukha Dukkha Sangar Gacchant Imuda Padam Avyam Tat. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion and false association, who understand the eternal and are done with material lust, who are free from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. Namah Vishnu Vraya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Taramane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Prasharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskyatyade Satarna. It may seem quite complicated, all these different things, but actually the material world is quite complicated. But the main complication is that we think ourselves to be something that we're actually not. So that's called illusion. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that illusion, the results of that illusion, when he says, Denosminyata dehe Kaumara yovanam jara tata dahantra praptir diryas tatra namuyati. That the embodied soul, and we happen to be the embodied soul, are continually passing in a body which is going from boyhood to youth to old age. So similarly the soul will enter into another body at the time of death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by these different changes. In other words, we ourselves are conscious, unlike what we're conscious of. We're conscious of the material energy, primarily our gross and subtle material bodies, which are always changing. So we've had a little baby body. How old are you? How old? 5. Did you always have a 5-year-old body? How old were you last year? 4. Did you have the same body last year? Where did it go? What happened to your body? Do you know what happened to it? No, I don't either. And what's going to happen next year? What's going to happen to the body you have now? It'll grow. But growing means it's different. What happened to the little baby body? It disappeared. So the body's always changing. We had a little baby body, we have this body. The scientists say that, well, we know that every moment the whole material energy is changing. What to speak of our body? But when we walked into this room, we were still the same person as when we walked into the room. And similarly, when we leave the room, we'll still be the same person, but our bodies are going to be different. So if we were the body, at every moment we'd be also changing. But the person who's conscious of their body is not changing. So we're the soul who are conscious, and what we're conscious of is called the material body, and is always changing. We're actually eternal, but unfortunately now we're eternally an illusion. Just like at night we may dream, I become a general in an army, or I become a princess in a castle. And we actually believe that that's who we become, and that's what we're conscious of. And when we wake up, then we become conscious of this identity, whatever it may be, but we ourselves remain the same person. So we have our daydream, which is our daydream right now, and we have our night dreams. But we're neither the daydream nor the night dream, but we do have an identity, and that is revealed to us when we actually wake up from this dream that we presently are experiencing. So here Krishna says, Nirmana Moha. Nirmana, nir means without, mana, this material conceptions that we have right now. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have some conception, but false conceptions are not very good. Nirmana moha, and these false conceptions are due to illusion. Nirmana moha, jita sangha dosha, and in the association with others, we more or less are cultivating usually these illusions. Materialistic society is actually dedicated to cultivating illusion. Everyone is certain, thinking they belong to a certain country, a certain religion, even male or female, all based upon the bodily concept of life. Just like if you enter into a car, generally speaking, you don't think you become the car. You know that you're simply a passenger in the car. Similarly, we're in the car, which is made out of material elements, but we're thinking, as in Sanskrit, as I said yesterday, we're thinking aham car. Aham means I and car. So we're thinking I am the car. But actually we're not the car. We're the passenger in the car. Now the question is, why are we an illusion? Well, number one, we want to be an illusion. Otherwise we wouldn't be an illusion. Because we have no other alternative, for one thing. So therefore, we embrace our illusion. Just like if you run up to a tree and you grab hold of the tree and you say, let me go, let me go, let me go. And someone comes along and says, dear sir, you're not holding, the tree is not holding on to you, you're holding on to the tree. No, you don't understand, it's got me, it won't let me go, let me go, let me, no, just let the tree go, you'll be all right. No, you don't understand. You and your philosophy, just go away, find someone who can help me. So similarly, because we don't know who we actually are, we're acting as if we're this body. And as soon as we think we're this body, then we think that whatever we have in relation to this body belongs to me. This is my country. Those who were born, I don't even know what this country is. So this country is quite confusing. There's something about Great Britain, the Isles, English, Ireland, Northern Ireland, and somehow I guess Great Britain means the whole thing, or there's and then Scotland and everything. So if you just say Great Britain, then includes England.
We don't bother with Great Britain.
Britain. So people think that this is my country. Really? What part of the country belongs to you? Actually, and even this body, which we think is ours, tell me, how much of this body are we even conscious of? Has anyone looked at their gallbladder lately? What about your stomach? What does that look like? Do we even know what it looks like? We claim this is me, but we can't even see it. We don't even know how it works. When we eat food, we have no idea what happens. We're just hoping something happens. Something auspicious happens. We hear all kinds of noises, but we don't know what they mean. what they're trying to tell us. So we're not aware of it in our own body, nor do we even control it. Tell me, who here can control even one atom in their body? Who can tell one atom in their body, please, my dear atom, don't grow older. I like you too much. We want you to be here. Please don't change. We can't even stop one atom in our body from changing. What to speak of anywhere else? So we're declaring ourselves to be the proprietors of this body and things in relation to the body, but we have very little control. All we can do is desire. And even when we desire it, there's no guarantee our desires are going to be fulfilled. As a matter of fact, hopefully most of them aren't being fulfilled. So we desire, and somehow or another something happens. Maybe I move my hand, or I can get up but sometimes that's not even possible. The point of the philosophy is that we're eternal, and that the material nature is actually being controlled by something other than ourselves. It's not just happening whimsically, as the scientists would say, that everything is just going on by chance. Well, if they actually believe that everything happened by chance, then why do they go to school to get their PhD degree? Why don't they just wait around by chance? They might get the degree. So they don't believe in the theory of chance either. They talk about chance, so why don't they stay at home by chance? They might become rich. Why are they working so hard? Why not just wait for chance to happen? Why are they using their intelligence to make things happen? So the fact is, things go on with intelligence. Anything that has any organization requires intelligence. So even this body that we have, which none of us have manufactured, the last time I saw that they manufactured a human being, something like a human being, was in the movie called Frankenstein. But that didn't work out very well, either for Frankenstein or for his creator. But since then, no one has created their body. We're put into the body. And as I said, we're eating food, and somehow or another it's being digested. Parts of it are being assimilated, unnecessary parts are being eliminated, and it's all going on without our conscious effort. So who has created this machine? Who has created male and female machines that when they get together they make little machines? Can a scientist create a male Rolls Royce and a female Rolls Royce? And when they get together they make little Rolls Royces, and you feed them gasoline and oil and they grow up to become big Rolls Royces and everyone can get one? No, there are 8,400,000 species of life, and they have their male species, male part and female part, and they make little parts and they grow up and become big parts. So who's made this arrangement? So we say, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead exists, and we're also observing Him, His activities all the time. Otherwise, how is the sun coming up at a certain time and the sun going down at a certain time? The sun, which is full of infinite effulgence, who's actually controlling the movements of the sun? Who's controlling the movements of the other planets in this universe? Who is actually in charge of time? Time, which is changing everything, but nothing is changing time. If we say there is no God, then how is it that we're under control of time, which is changing everything? At least one has to admit that time is supreme in this material world. And time is changing things according to very set laws. Otherwise, how is it that if we ate grass, what would happen? Well, one thing, we wouldn't get fat. But it's very unlikely we'd digest grass very well. Nothing would really happen except we would get sick probably after some time. But if a cow eats grass, then it can produce milk. So who's made that arrangement? Who's made arrangements so the tigers, generally they eat flesh, and other living entities like cows, they generally eat grass and other herbs and vegetables. So there are arrangements in this material world, intelligent arrangements, and they're going on under time, because time is the one that makes all the arrangements here, all the different changes. And time, nothing can change time. So if we say we don't believe in God, how is that possible? Because if you don't agree to accept time and follow the laws of nature, then at the time of death you still have to bow down. Time will make you bow down. Time is superior to everything. And time is being directed by intelligence. Otherwise, how can these things be going on, such as the fact that the snowflakes are falling in precise geometric patterns with no two snowflakes being identical? Who has made such an arrangement? Therefore, Krishna is present in this world in the form of time, and he's also organized material existence in such a way is that according to our activities, we get certain results. That's why there are so many different species of life. There are not only human beings, there are also animals and insects and germs. So how is it that these living entities are in the body of a cow or a dog or an elephant or a grasshopper, and now we're in the body of a human being? How has that happened? Has it just happened by accident? Or are there laws that govern what kind of body that we receive? So that's what Bhagavad Gita deals with. Now, at least these conceptions, some of them may not be completely clear to us, but at least we should understand that we're eternal, and that every living entity is eternal, and that it's not by accident whatever the situation we find ourselves in. And above that, as it says here, those who are free from illusion, those who are free from false prestige, because if I'm not this body, I'm actually a spiritual being, that I'm simply temporarily inhabiting this body, and that when I leave this body, everything I think is mine is no longer mine. It was never really mine. Just like one can go to the bank of, what bank do they have here? Barclays. We can go to the Barclays Bank and raise your hands and say, I renounce it all. You can have all the money back. So people in the bank will say, oh, you're such a generous person. Thank you very much. But people will simply call the police and have you put into a nice padded cell. Because you can't renounce something that you never had to begin with. Similarly, since actually we're not this body, nor are we the controllers of this universe, therefore this conception that there's something for us to renounce here is all false, because it doesn't belong to us. The only problem is we imagine that these things belong to us, and therefore we become disturbed when we lose them, and we become elated when we think we're getting them. But actually we remain the same, no matter what our material circumstances are. Our experience certainly differs according to our circumstances, but we ourselves are not changing according to them. Now we do have another life, another existence, which is different from this material existence, because now we're experiencing material existence, and material existence means everything is temporary. And that's disturbing to us because we're eternal. We don't like changing our bodies and always starting all over again. For instance, even we get a human form of life in our next lifetime, still we have to start all over again. You have to go back to school again. And again learn that 1 + 1 is equal to 2. Again get stars on your report card. You may have been a big professor at a university with a PhD degree and the Nobel Prize for mathematics, but now you're back again. The teacher is scolding you because you can't figure out what they're equal to. And that's if we get a human form of life. If you get another species of life, if you enter into another species, then you don't have to worry about 1 + 1 is equal to 2. Matter of fact, your schooling will be very quick. If you become a bird, after a couple of weeks, they just throw you out of the nest and say, fly. And if you flap your wings, you're all right, or else you get another body quickly. That's your whole lesson. And if you get a bird body, rent is free. There's no mortgage on the nest. You don't have to pay rent. You don't have to go to a grocery store to buy your food. You can fly there. Of course, there are a few other problems. But anyhow, life is rather simpler. You don't even have to pay for your children's education. It's very quick lessons. In any case, now we're in the material existence and we're imagining ourselves through the proprietors. And we've made so many rules and regulations, how much of a proprietor we can be and what kind of proprietors we can be and how we know if we're the proprietor. But it's all false because the actual proprietor is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who actually, this is his energies and he's controlling it. But because we're imagining ourselves to be competitors to God, therefore we've been put under the control of God's energy called illusion. And because of that illusion, we're forced to identify ourselves with these gross and subtle bodies. And we made up so many rules and regulations which are also equally false. It's just like if a band of thieves, they go and rob a bank. And all the thieves, they go to their hideout. And the head thief stands up and says, "My dear fellow thieves, now that we've robbed this bank, I want to say you did a great job. All glories to the thieves. But now that we've robbed all this money, I only have one request to all you great thieves. Please, I beg you, let us divide this money up honestly." So they're all thieves, and now they want to divide the money up honestly. So similarly, human society, they made so many rules and regulations about how to divide up God's property honestly. But in the background, they've forgotten about God, who's the actual proprietor. And therefore, although it appears they're doing all right, but actually anyone in the Bali concept of life, anyone who's attached to the material energy, is very unfortunate. Because by nature we're all eternal, or by nature we know who we are, and we know who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is, and we're always in love with Him, and we're always blissful. We're always full of happiness. But due to this material existence, our existences are temporary, and we don't know where we're going after we leave this body. And that's quite a problem. Many souls like ourselves were in human forms of life, and they were convinced that they were doing great. They got 100% on their math test. They paid their mortgage off. Their children all became doctors and lawyers. They had all the insurance they needed. They died in a very advanced hospital with all the latest equipment. And they wound up a cat in their next lifetime. So is that successful? Now, of course, people may think, well, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to become a cat. But then where do all these cats come from? Where do all the dogs come from? Where do all the insects come from? Where do all these 8,400,000 species of life come from? And what's really the difference between them and us? If we're spiritual beings in temporary bodies, they're also conscious living entities, just like we are in temporary bodies. So how did they get into their body, and how are we in this body?
Can
Yes.
I make one quick announcement?
Okay.
I'm really sorry to interrupt. If anyone's driving a white Honda, they've blocked someone in the car park. Sorry, it's completely off topic.
Okay.
A white Honda.
Well,
That's okay, no problem. Yeah, if you let them out, you can have their space after.
Or else they'll take your car over.
Sorry.
Wouldn't mind a swap.
Now, of course, unless people understand, which is not so much mentioned in this verse, that there is a supreme person who's all attractive. So that's our philosophy. That there is a God, and God is not something void or impersonal, that God is a person. Just like we're all persons. And the reason why we're persons is that Krishna, who's a name for God in Sanskrit, he's the original person, and he has everything, including everything we find attractive. He has all beauty, he has all strength, he has all knowledge, he has all fame, he has all wealth, he has all renunciation. That's where we get our opulence from the original source of all opulence. Now, how can we know if Krishna is actually God? Well, right now with our present eyes, we can't even see ourselves, what to speak of God. Therefore, how can we actually see his beauty, or witness his strength, or his fame, or his renunciation? But one thing we can perceive about the Supreme Personality of Godhead is his knowledge. And therefore he spoke this book called Bhagavad Gita, which we have here. If we read Bhagavad Gita, then we can find out whether Krishna actually knows everything. God must know everything, otherwise he wouldn't be a very good God. We can find out if Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, whether he's giving us perfect knowledge or not. And that we can find out for ourselves. It's not a question of blindly accepting Krishna. It's a question of hearing from Krishna and ascertaining what he's saying, whether it's true or not, and then following it. And we follow it to actually experience it, to realize it, to perceive it directly within our own experience. Otherwise, there's no meaning to becoming Krishna conscious or being Krishna conscious unless we actually become Krishna conscious, which means conscious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whether you call him Krishna or Jehovah or Allah, whoever we want to call him, there's only one God. There's one person who's created the universe and is maintaining it and controlling it. So in this age where people are quite disturbed, where there's so much propaganda that God is dead, or there's no God, or that everyone is God, or you don't worry about God, or that Donald Trump is God, or whatever. Then in this age where everything is very complicated, people usually don't have time for so much sophisticated meditation or science of self-realization, it's recommended simply to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Because Krishna is so kind that he can appear before us in the form of his name. And if we chant these names regularly, then we can experience Krishna, and we can actually begin to perceive more clearly, more easily, what this philosophy is. So the philosophy is in these books here. Also, the chanting of Hare Krishna is available. It doesn't cost anything. One can try it out and see whether or not it increases one's awareness of things as they are. Krishna consciousness is not some other consciousness or other philosophy. It's actually coming back to perceive things as they are. Not someone else telling us what they are, but are actually experiencing what they really are. And the reality is much nicer than we think. The reality is our original consciousness in relation to Krishna, and that's everything we're looking for. Eternal loving activities or service in relation with the Supreme All-Attractive Person and His all-attractive associates in an all-attractive Supreme world called the spiritual world, as mentioned here. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions? Comments? But we really encourage you to come and see these books here, those who don't have the books. And for those who have the books, we encourage you to read the books. And for those who are reading the books, we encourage you to follow the books. And for those who are following them, then we encourage you to try and inspire others to read the books and follow them also. All right. Thank you very much. Canterbury, Bhagavad Gita, Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada, Ki Jai. Gaur Prahladananda.
His Holiness Prahladananda Maharaj Ki Jai.